back. My brain is completely melting. Black Bane.
Welcome to Turn Extension, a supplemental podcast for the Advanced Maneuvers YouTube channel. Hey everybody, Kevin here. Tony normally does the editing for this, so I had my chance to attempt to do editing. Unfortunately, during the recording, the equipment picked up a lot of microphone pops and hisses and stuff like that. It's not to the point of not being able to hear the podcast. It's just mildly annoying, so I apologize for that in advance. And before he says anything, yes, Tony, this is why we can't have nice things.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Turn Extension. My name is Devin, also known as Cutthroat Cure on the forums.
Hey everybody, it's Kevin.
It's Jonathan, Tyonis on the forums.
So in today's discussion, we're going to be talking about some lists and some things that are basically working within the meta. We invited our good friend Tyonis, or John, to come on and talk about his experiences with Crix. And just talking about a list that has really been, dare I say, plaguing most metas, and that's Ghost.
Yeah, you say plaguing, and I can't determine if you mean plaguing the Crix players or plaguing the people who play Crix.
Plaguing everybody.
Nah, it's no Una 2, but
Yeah, no, that's true.
But there is, and I love that it starts off with plaguing, right? Because Crix finally gets a list that works, and everybody's like, oh, why?
People got used to you being at the bottom of the barrel. They want to keep it that way.
People don't remember the horror stories.
What was that, coward?
I said people don't remember the horror stories. Coward.
I'm a friendly guy, I promise.
I believe the gauntlet was just thrown. No, honestly, when we found out that we weren't going to have Tony on, it was kind of a situation where I was talking to Devin. I was like, hey, let's reach out to Jonathan and see if he can't come on, because if you don't know, or if you're not in the Crix Facebook group, Jonathan's been doing a lot of you call it Tour de Crix.
Yep.
And you've been kind of like basically going, all right, guys, which caster am I going to choose, and just grind through it. And I actually really appreciate a lot of the article work that you've been putting into those. I read just about every single one of them that come through, although I have to catch up on the most recent one. But it was one of those situations of, there's a lot of podcasts out there talking about Ghost Fleet right now, and there's no way in hell that Devin or I could ever speak to it, so let's bring somebody who actually knows what the hell they're doing with Crix. But instead of just having another conversation about Ghost Fleet and what it's doing to the meta and yada yada yada, we wanted to touch base with you, Jonathan, more on what does somebody pair Ghost Fleet with. So if I'm an up-and-coming Crix player and I go on the Facebook and it's Ghost Fleet, Ghost Fleet, Ghost Fleet, okay, cool, that means I need to play Ghost Fleet. But then I kind of get left with what the hell do I pair with Ghost Fleet? What does Ghost Fleet afraid of, or what could be coming down the pike for Ghost Fleet that I need to prep for and get a second list running? Or is the answer, I just Iron Man Ghost Fleet and fuck off?
Not Iron Man Ghost Fleet, you just double Ghost Fleet. You do something like Denny 1, and she goes, all right, cool, I can bust your face with Ghost Fleet. And then you do something like Coven Ghost Fleet, which is like, I'm just going to shield my army from your army and then kill you with Ghost Fleet. But that, I don't feel that is a sustainable Crixian tactic. I don't believe that there will be no time in which people don't look at Ghost Fleet and go, all right, I got a tech for my Crix list. They always did a Mark II. They always did a little bit of Mark I. But it's just an infantry list, right? You look at the list, it's got, 9, 18, 27, 37 infantry. Realistically, I've had 60 infantry shot off the field, and only one because I had Terminus. So having that amount of infantry is going to be rough when they're returning a couple. When they're returning up to, was it 3, 6, 9, 12 infantry to the board every turn. But that's not always going to work. Sometimes they only return 6, and you've got to take advantage of that turn and remove everything you possibly can. So what Ghost Fleet doesn't like is remove from play, is mass quantities of shooting. Also now, it doesn't like blast damage. Blast damage is going to just start breaking things in Ghost Fleet. I'm positive that the world is going to come around to anti-infantry lists again. Things like, and I have played against this, 70 Winter Guard.
How do I answer infantry spam? With infantry spam. Fight fire with fire.
Right. I played 40 models into his 70 models and clocked him out. That was what I did. We weren't going to be effective against each other. I mean, I did have a single Satixis unit kill 30 Winter Guard, but that's how that type of game is going to progress. So what I expect to see is a lot more people, now that everybody, quote, everybody, who isn't supposed to have jack spam lists has gotten it out of their blood. They've tried it, they've found it's subpar, maybe a little less, and their factions are going to start abandoning them. Khador has theirs, everybody's got a little bit here and there, but for the most part, it didn't pan out like everybody thought that Start of Mark III was going to. I gave it a year, 18 months for the meta to shake out, to everybody to get off of their Warjack boners and their gun boners. No, gun boners haven't gone away. Everybody's still rock hard for the guns. So we've got this situation where the meta has no infantry and no infantry removal. So Ghost Fleet is good, but it is exploiting a weakness in the meta that is easily correctable. And I fully expect it to be within 6 months.
So is it your thought that Ghost Fleet right now is successful because it's the anti-meta?
Yeah, 100%.
So is this a situation of, if Ghost Fleet is the anti-meta, then its obvious evolution would become that it's going to shift into the meta, and therefore Ghost Fleet is going to need to evolve to whatever that next anti-Ghost Fleet meta is?
Yeah, I expect it. Stealth sucks for Ghost Fleet. Got a bunch of guns. Remove from play sucks because I need my leaders. Because as I'm sure everybody knows, what you do with Ghost Fleet, what you quote, I'm putting quotes in there. What you do is you just remove from play the quartermaster, and then they can't return anybody anymore for that whole unit ever again. It lynches on 3 models, and then you've got your 4th model, Black Back. My brain is completely melting. Black Bane. You remove Black Bane. You remove those 4 models. You take a lot of the efficiency out of Ghost Fleet. So when you look across the table and you go, all right, this dude is running a bunch of snacking Tharn, a bunch of Trollkin, Sorsha 2 with Shatterstorm to blow up all my dudes with pinpoint precision, Ossian. You're gonna go, I don't want to put Ghost Fleet into that. It's going to just explode. And then if people can just reach deep enough, I know you've got your dude 14-ish inches from the back line or from the front line that is there to regenerate your units. But if you can get somebody back there and just pick off the backline guy, or you kill everybody except the rifles, there you go. You kill everybody but the rifles, and then the rifles can't be promoted to a quartermaster, so goodbye recursion. You're going to want something that can stand up to that. Something that doesn't care about RFP or isn't RFP'd easily. You want something that isn't going to be shot down through a whole bunch of POW 10s, POW 12s that you're going to get on the board. You're going to want something that hopefully can deal with stealth or doesn't care about it. in my eyes, you've got two solid picks. I am going to go way out there and go, I love Morty 2 into an anti-Ghost Fleet list. They're just not going to have enough to deal with a whole bunch of heavy warjacks coming at them. One of them with failsafe and being Death Jack. The other one, I'd run Barathrum. He's super high defense, and then Nightmare hiding behind all sorts of buildings and being locomoted around. And then Terminus, because he's got a million dudes, and you can do whatever you want to him, to the list. You're not going to shoot him. He doesn't care about stealth, because he's going to run over and punch you right in the face, whether you're dodgy and hiding in the shadows or not.
But is that going to mean that you mentioned Terminus, and I know a couple of people have talked about Terminus being a Ghost Fleet potential. Is it just a situation where Ghost Fleet evolves away from the P. Denny Ghost Fleet to the Terminus Ghost Fleet in order to adjust to the meta?
I mean, maybe. I don't... Man, Ghost Fleet is so vulnerable to RFP. I mean, I took Denny 2 with Ghost Fleet to a tournament. I only played Crix players who had Ghost Fleet in their pairings and never saw Ghost Fleet. I remove stealth. I remove incorporeal. I have RFP on a stick. Just don't play into me. I'll remove you from the game.
So then that goes to kind of to that concept of when people start carrying around that Ghost Fleet solution. Is there? So you mentioned Terminus and you mentioned Morty. Is there others, or is there anything else? Like, I mean, are we talking a rise of potentially the Bane theme and going for some sort of like armor skew? Like, it doesn't feel like the right answer, but is that an option?
I mean, it depends. Do you think that 30 Bane Knights at armor 20, 20 Bane Knights at armor 20, and one set of Bane Knights at armor 22 is a good shooting solution?
Volume. Some of the POW 10s are going to struggle on those 20s, maybe.
So, some of the POW 10s are going to struggle on 20s?
It sounds pretty good when you have that much armor, and most shooting isn't hitting, the high armor.
I mean, if you're hitting power 10s into an armor 20, you're only doing damage on 11s and 12s, so you're looking at 3 of 36 options, whatever the math on that works out to be. I'm terrible at it.
Yeah.
And that's not particularly expensive. That's 15, 30, 45, 55, 60 of your points.
Yeah, I have to imagine that a lot of the Crix players back from the P-Scar days probably still have their 30 Knights laying around.
Right. And do I think it'll be a solution everywhere? Probably not. But I expect to see, because Crix has never been able to drop 30 armor 20 plus dudes on the board and just stare at you and go fuck stuff.
Yeah, I have to say that in the past, Crix has never been the armor faction, that's for sure.
No, that's what the CI did. The CI did to the Bane Knights was turn them into a defensive unit that we've never had. And that is an option I'm looking at, staring into these Signar gun lines that never miss. The guy who had 3/4 of a unit of Satixis on a hill under whipping winds just shot off the board immediately.
So let's talk about the Bane then. So if we take this 30 Bane as a potential solution for our other list, are you thinking that you'd go Terminus for the tough? Are you thinking you go go back to the old days and dip into the P-Scar well? Where are you looking at that one?
You want to know where my stupid brain goes? Because and anybody who plays Crix understood the two casters I'm possibly using back when I started the list discussion here. It's either Scaverus or Scar 2. They both have a +2 armor buff, so that one of the units is armor 22.
No, okay.
Which is super awesome for me. Like, I like that idea. The front line being armor 22, def 14, with reach. I mean, that's good stuff.
What do you think, Devin? You're looking across the field at 30 Banes. Are you concerned?
I'm just not ready for Banes to come back yet. I mean, I've really enjoyed this time without him, you know. So, but no, I mean, with trolls, I don't feel like I'd have to. It's something to worry about, especially because we troll players hate Weapon Master. Now, these are these Bane Knights, right?
Yep, Bane Knights.
All right, so then they're only getting the charge bonus and stuff. So, and what's their speed?
Their speed 5. Dararoth is allowed in the list. They have reach, so 6 with reach.
All right, so I mean, the thing with trolls is it's really going to come down. There's going to be a lot of stuff that really comes down to, you know, who gets the first roll and a lot of questions like that. But I mean, it's not something I want to see. I mean, looking over at 30 anything, doesn't matter what it is, at armor 22, I mean, it's kind of horrifying, especially when, you know, I remember a day when, you know, we used to look over at, you know, a dire troll or an earthborn that was sitting there at armor 20, and people would be like, fuck this, or, you know, 22, fuck that, you know? But now you're talking about, you know, a very strong, heavy-hitting unit in mass quantity battling with the armor that a once heavy beast had, which costs considerably more, that they actually toned down.
Right, and those POW 14s with Dark Shroud from the Wraith Engine, POW 16s, are going to get work done. Charging POW 16s are nuts.
Are you looking to play with Black Spot in that list?
Oh, Black Spot is really nice. So what ends up that is the frontline unit, backed by Tartarus, ends up being something along the lines of Mat 9, with 2 attacks each, provided they kill a person. That seems legit.
All right, and I'm assuming that also there may be play with backlash. I mean, if you've got 30 dudes who have reach to be able to charge in and just start punching jacks, they may not be able to do a lot of damage, but, you know, juniors are being terrified, and casters have potential to be terrified as well, don't they?
Juniors simply explode under backlash. It's my favorite thing to do in the world. Is just detonate Jake's head from punching her jack nearby. The issue actually comes in with, I am more likely. All right, armor 20, POW 16 on the charge. You're getting 4 of them in there. Your dice -4, 3 dice. You're looking at what, 7 each.
Like, you're more likely to drop the jack before it kills the caster.
Yeah, unless it's a junior. But yeah, if you're looking to pick off a couple little guys here, a couple control casters, or a couple of junior war casters, yeah, you could use backlash. Or if you're feeling really froggy and you don't want to attack with the Dark Shroud, yeah, you can get backlash out. But that's not her game. Her game here is getting across the board. Wraith Engine, Dararoth, Banelord Tartarus, herself, her jacks are all defense freaking ridiculous on the feet turn. Barathrim's impossible to shoot off the board at that point. And this could easily fit in the Dark Host. So you get Shroud, or you get, not Shroud, you get Prowl, you get free Tartarus, so you're looking at 6 more points. Unfortunately, it doesn't net you any Bane Warriors, which kind of sucks. But it is what it is.
Does it really suck, though? Does it?
It does. It does suck that you can't get a free benefit. Like, even if I have all 60 points and I'm not bringing Bane Warriors, the only thing I get is a frickin' Tartarus, and the other 2 give me, like, scrap thralls. Who the fuck cares?
But all the thralls. So
yeah.
So it's. I mean, it sounds like. So what are you looking at for your battle group? You mentioned Barathrum. Are you looking at the Barathrum Deathjack combo again, or?
Not in Dark Shroud.
Dark
Host.
Yeah, Dark Host. Yeah, okay.
This is gonna sound stupid. Let me take a peek here. I don't know that she really does it well. I'll need a target for admonition. Oh wait, that's Scar 2. Death Ward, Soul Strike. She's just sitting there hanging out. So I need jacks that'll do work. But then we're looking at Crix jacks, so none of them.
Are you basically going for the bog standard chicken jacks for arc nodes, or?
Yeah, you need 2 chicken jacks for arc nodes. If there's no reason, well, there is a reason to take defilers, because double sprays are the tits.
Yeah.
But it's not often you're going to end up getting that Rat 5 to trigger a black spot attack. Cedars are amazing in every list they've ever been running. We've got Desecrators that are newly improved and super useful. So I can easily make a battle group of Desecrator, Death Ripper, right? Desecrator's going to get the accumulator for the Bane. He's got an AoE 4 gun at range.
Oh yeah, I mean if you're gonna be stuck in Bane tier, you might as well get something that allows you to give extra focus.
Right. But looking at this list, looking at it on paper, I see the list is terrible. Scar, Death Ripper, Desecrator, Wraith Engine, Darath, Tartarus, potentially for free, under Dark Hosts, and then Bane Knight. There's not a lot you can fit in there.
Yeah, the Bane Knights are really choking up your points.
Yeah, well, I actually think it's the Wraith Engine, Darath, Tartarus that are choking up my points. Because do I really need Armor 20? Or is Armor 18 and more stuff going to be better? Because 18 still bounces most POW 10s.
Most, but 20 bounces even more.
Yeah, but I got 30 guys. Remember, all right, Kev, put yourself in the fact that you're a Crix player, and almost none of your dudes are going to make it anyways. You have to win the game with 7 dudes, and it's been that way since Mark 1. So I look at 30 guys and go, hey, 15 get there. I'm doing well.
So if we're not, so let's step away from Scar 2 and the Bane theme. What else could you potentially pair with Ghost Fleet that might be able to address some of the concerns it has, or address some of the potential evolving meta that's about to come down the pike here in 3 or 4 months of Ghost Fleet being a successfully reoccurring theme in tournaments?
Right. That's where I'm looking at the Bane Knights, right? Because if the anti-infantry comes in and they're just blasting things or trying to level things with POW 10s, those Bane Knights are just gonna on their own just fine. The other thing is piles of jacks. The Morty 2 list I ran was Death Jack, Barathrum, Nightmare. It doesn't work anymore because stupid CID, which I just praised a minute earlier. That's fine. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Death Jack, Barathrum, Nightmare, 15 points. So I guess Bane Knights, and then Satixis Raiders with UA. A couple little things here and there. Actually, I think that's all of it. But, I mean, it's got a super heavy hitter that's not going to die to almost an entire concentrated army. Death Jack under failsafe is absurdly obnoxious. Barathram's who's never where you want him to be, because between double locomotion and drag below, he ends up to 12 inches from where he started after he's done killing things. So he gets his move, a charge or whatever, and then prior to that he could get locomoted up to twice, and then he can drag below to a different position, and then possibly, if he hasn't been locomoted twice already, get multiple locomotions, though that pulls him out of dig in, so that's not always the best. But if you're sitting from, hey, I'm defense 17, but in front of guns, and you can move 6 inches and be defense infinite because the guns can't see you, there's different practical uses there. Nightmare doesn't care about terrain, hits super hard like a super truck of destruction, and then Satixis Raiders and Bane Thralls, or Bane Knights, attack the 2 different options for infantry. Either you can hit me, and then you don't do any damage for the Bane Knights, or you can't hit me, and that's really sad for you because I've got C-Texas Raiders.
So, one of the things I've been thinking about is, 2016, or I'm sorry, 2017 is coming out here soon, and it's going to be modifying the way that we're changing things. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I think Crix actually might be in a good position when it comes to the whole, people are worried about scoring. You have to have units for certain zones and jacks for others, where, I mean, you've got tons of Banes, so infantry scoring is not going to be an issue. You've got tons of chicken jacks, so jack scoring is not going to be an issue. I mean, do either of these two lists have any concerns with the up-and-coming 17, even from like a more dense terrain? Actually, that probably helps you, doesn't it?
We have more ways to... Jesus Christ! We have more ways of mitigating terrain than almost anything that's not circle. All my beasts don't fly, but I have ghost walk everywhere. If I don't want to care about terrain, if I literally go, terrain is a pain in my ass, I'm just going to build a list that ignores it. Agathea is the coolest terrain ignoring caster I've ever met.
So is she potentially a Ghost Fleet pair, or is that just terrain's irritating me? I'm going to throw my Agathea list out.
If you can blow up Ghost Fleet, you will annihilate an Agathea list.
Oh, okay.
Agathea wants to bring... nobody wants to bring Jacks in Crix. They're all terrible. All my Jacks, like, Seethers are good in certain situations. The characters are good. But you don't need to dedicate not resources. You don't need to make dedicated anti-Jack attacks against my Jacks because they're goddamn armor 17. They might as well be made of spit and waddle and daub.
You look at them wrong, and then left arm falls off.
Oh God, yes, indeed. That's why I like Morty too in that situation, because at least somebody will get there. I played her into Ossian, Defenders of Ios, just as it came out, which was absurd and awesome. And there was a point where I looked at it and I was like, all right, I think these 3 guys can ruin my day if I don't kill them. So I'm just going to kill them. And I had absolutely no problem with it. Wrather runs up, punches one guy to death, Deathjack wanders over, kills another guy, and I look at the table and go, or you've got nothing left that can threaten my jacks. Somehow, everything's dead because my infantry is so prevalent and so numerical. That's a stupid word. I have so much infantry without trying, oftentimes, that I'm able to just overwhelm your infantry, unless it's a pile of guns. And that's why people go Coven. Coven Ghost Fleet, being a Ghost Fleet counter, being a Ghost Fleet pairing, is not surprising.
So do you think that that's a potential evolution of Ghost Fleet?
Coven?
Yeah, it just Coven becomes the mainstay for Ghost Fleet. It seems like, and maybe I'm horribly wrong on this. It seems like most of the people nowadays are like, it's P. Denny, or, I'm sure there's a couple others, but everybody seems to be, crutching hard on the P. Denny Ghost Fleet more than anything else. Is that just? I know that P. Denny's obviously doing a lot to improve the output of Ghost Fleet, but is it a scenario of output not good enough, need to bring Coven so that survivability is an option?
Output is almost always good enough. I mean, -5 to your armor, followed by any -5 to your armor, or -4 to your armor and -4 to your defense, really makes it so that almost every one of those freaking rifles are going to hit. You're looking at what? 4, 5, 7, and 4. 11? Rat 11 just with a single guy under Denny's feet? It's not about output. She's going to break your face if she can see you. But if you stealth up, or if you can remove from play the rifles, it's over. There are other things you can do. You can, make a melee game of it or what have you. I've been tooling around with a very stupid Iacos melee fleet. But you really just want to make sure that RFP doesn't matter to you. You've got no recursion. You've got no... When your guys die, they're using RFP attacks that don't matter. So they pay points for this thing to counter you that doesn't bother you in your deep black heart.
Well, I mean, shit. Here I was hoping that the call was going to be, yeah, this is what I'm really worried about. There's no real solution for it, and unfortunately it sounds like you've already kind of hashed through it. And I have to imagine some of that just comes from all the reps that you're putting in for Tour de Crix. I was just looking at it, and I see that you've already got articles up for Scar 2 and Morty 2. So I would definitely recommend anybody who wants to learn more about those two, because they're thinking about putting them into their pairing, or any of the others, because there's just a slew of them on this thing. Check.
I've only through 10.
Well, I mean, hey, how many casters are in Crix?
20.
Okay, almost halfway there. I would highly recommend people go check out his Seething Ginger and his Tour de Crix. If you don't want to Google it, just go to the Crix Facebook page. He's posting them there.
I would consider 50% a slew.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't know.
If we're gonna get into an argument about anything, let's argue about the fact that 50% of the faction that you have covered in your article is definitely a slew.
But I'm not. All right. So here's why I berate myself for not going far enough. So I played Terminus and Coven and Gorshid 1 and Gorshid 2 before I started the Tour de Crix. And I was like, I'll just get through all the casters before the end of the year. So I need half the casters that were left to be done by, say, July. Yesterday?
I was going to say, I don't know if you're going to make your end of the year goal, my friend.
Right. I'm probably going to be stuck with another couple casters past January, but that'll be fine. The way the community has voted as a bunch of douchebags, not douchebags. They picked all the worst casters.
Hey,
first.
I vote every single time, so I take offense.
Correct.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you're helping the douchebag comment much there, Devin.
I definitely voted for Sturgis.
Yeah, everybody voted for Sturgis too, and he was the worst play experience I've ever had playing this game. But you can read how much I hate him on my articles. I do go through like what I expect the caster to do, and then what the caster performs halfway, and then like how he ended up turning out after the 5 games. And man, he is just there are people who like him and they're fine, but they're not me. So yeah, Morty 2, I only would have said that out of experience. I'm not gonna shoot random shit off the wall to go, hey, yeah, Morty 2's great because she's got these things. She doesn't look good on paper for the first glance, an immediate take. But she's able to, if you want, pull any colossal off the board. Under any circumstances, known to man or god, you can't stop me from removing it. What is it? Arcane Shield under Striker's feet, and Deathjack still kills it?
I have to imagine she's going to have absolutely no issue with all the new battle engines that will be hitting the table here soon.
No, she'll just look at him sideways and punch him right in the face. So, and the same thing for Terminus. Terminus was based off of playing into like a Raven list with 1,000,000 guns, and I stared at it and went, "This is gonna really suck." But 58 guys really makes it not so bad, because you don't have anything. When anti-infantry returns, it will be volume of fire or blast, and between Bane Knights, Satexis Raiders, and not caring about whether or not your models die because there's nothing to do with them, the Terminus list looks really strong into just volume of fire. You can put out a lot of shots. I don't know that you can put out 60 shots before I kill you. I mean, I run Terminus at your caster. I run Nightmare at your strongest thing. You're like, man, Nightmare's faster than almost all the Colossals. And he'll just tear them apart. With Prey, he's pray in Dark Shroud, and if I need to, Malediction, he'll just scoop them neatly up and put them on the other part of the board. That's the not in play part.
I hate that side of the board.
That side of the board is my favorite side of the board. It's where all my infantry goes. So yeah, I worry about RFP. And while I talk about all this volume of fire and blast damage and other stuff, staring at Ghost Fleet, I go, man, I hope the opponent doesn't come with RFP. So making sure that doesn't matter is probably the best. Making sure you don't have any recursion on the list, or your recursion is add, but then you still need corpses for it. Making sure you've got big blocks of armor so that you don't get just mowed down by guns that are going to come, guns and blast damage. I'm really interested to see what did they call it? This is Ghost Fleet, the Black Fleet list with all the living pirates. What that brings to the table.
It's a fleet off.
Yeah. This is Ghost Fleet, and here's his brother, Black Fleet, and you get to choose which way you suffer the most.
Or both, one of them will be a fleeting thought.
Oh, no.
I hate you so much, Devin.
As soon as you two started talking about different fleets, I was like, this joke's coming out.
It really shouldn't have.
You should have just kept it packed away.
Nope, had to happen.
So I just want to appreciate you coming on and talking about this, because like I said in the beginning, if me and Devin even tried to talk about this, we would have just been like, yeah, Crix, undead, yeah, that's a thing.
It clearly is, but there's a lot to it, and I really hope, even though I play Crix, I don't want the meta to stagnate. I don't want Miserable Meat Mountain to rule the world for 18 months to 2 years. And I think that people looking at Ghost Fleet are looking in that similar vein of, God damn it, not another Meat Mountain that we just have to deal with for years. I don't think that is going to be what happens here. I think because people are playing against these Jack Swarms and against these big baddies for a year, they've not forgotten that anti-infantry tech exists, but they forgot why it exists. The game did not fundamentally change. I play and have had fairly good success with, quote, the worst faction for a long time. They're clearly not anymore. They've got a lot of improvements. They're doing a lot of great things. But they were a bad faction. And I have a right about 60% win ratio if you remove my pile of losses at the beginning of the edition, like within the first 2 months, as I was just flinging my face around everywhere trying to figure out what's going on. I played after that 2 months, 3 months, as if nothing had changed. I didn't go back to trying to figure out how to do Jax. I didn't play Benathrax. I didn't go anywhere sideways. I went, you know what? I'm just going to put more infantry on the board because everybody seems to have forgotten how it works. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. I just play infantry and they clock themselves. Or I play infantry and they don't have any answers and I blow everything up. Like, this is just the final push of that into a greater meta consciousness where they look at it and go, right, infantry. How do I remove infantry? You go, storm lances. Right, they kill 1 billion infantry.
Not anymore. No, they actually do.
They kill 500 million infantry, and I still can only bring 60.
All right, well, we've taken up enough of your time for the night. I do appreciate you coming on. Devin, did you have anything else, or?
No, I mean, I just like listening to John talk about how he's going to hand me my ass when we get to play at either Lock and Load or Nova. So
to be fair, anytime he said, "I'm about to hand you your ass, Devin," he's delivered.
He has.
So he's not lying.
I don't lie. It's the one thing that's good about me.
So,
That's a very short list.
I would toss out to the subscribers, what do you think if you're playing against Ghost Fleet, what do you think that is going to become your solution to Ghost Fleet, or if you currently are playing Ghost Fleet, let's try and say that one more time. Jesus criminy, Jonathan. if you're playing Ghost Fleet, what do you pair with it? Put down in the comments below or on the Facebook page, and if you have an opportunity, head over to Seething Ginger and post up a comment about how much of a horrible person he is, and everything he's posted up there is completely 100% wrong.
They won't be wrong. I tend to get more chatter on my Facebook page. Nobody likes commenting on blogs anymore. They just want to comment on the Facebook page, which is fine. But if you've got questions, comments, reach out to me. I've got a Seething Ginger Facebook page. If you really feel like you got some sort of pull towards me, I have my own personal Facebook page, which you can also contact me at. I'm fine with either of those.
He prefers stalking of all kind.
He will also be at Lock and Load. Am I correct, John?
No, did I not tell you?
No.
No, I'm going. I'm just trying to get a reaction.
I was like, shit, am I the only person from this meta going?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be at Lock and Load. I'll be the tall, obnoxious ginger.
The Seething Ginger?
Seething with rage.
Right. It looks like the latest poll has me bringing to Lock and Load Mort Neighbor 1, Venethrax, and just because I'm playing in Masters at Lock and Load, surprising everybody after this week's discussion, anyone with Ghost Fleet will be making an appearance.
Oh, so not Sturgis too?
Fuck that guy.
I was really hoping for Sturgis too.
Yeah.
What's that?
Because there's nothing more fun than a negative play experience. NPE.
I'm not sure you understand the term negative play experience if you're using it in that form.
Kevin, he doesn't understand the word fun. That's the problem.
I don't understand the words play experience.
Yeah, I don't understand the words play. All right, before we ramble on, that's been another episode of Turn Extension. Everybody have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night.